Hi everyone, I welcome you all in our today's podcast. Today, I'm Chavi, your podcaster of the day, and we are going to have an amazing person with us who is Supreet, and he is the co-founder of OneRare. Now, you might be thinking, what is actually OneRare? OneRare is the world's first food metaverse platform, and she's leading it, and she's doing some amazing, great work and contributing amazingly in the field of metaverse. So, with that, I welcome you, Supreet, in our today's podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Chavi. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today.
That's great. That's great. So, with that, how you actually thought of this metaverse thing? Because, there are very less number of women we can see. So, how, what actually struck to your mind, and how you jumped into this metaverse field?
So actually, at OneRare, my co-founder is also my husband, and he has been a blockchain enthusiast since 2017. He's been working in the industry, and alongside him, I started working as well. I am actually a designer by education. I'm from NIF Delhi, and for me, it's been quite a journey to be coming from that particular field all the way here. But I think it was a very gradual transition because we were kind of aware of what's happening in the blockchain. So I think from 2016 to say 19, blockchain was all about very technical topics. Everything that was spoken about it seemed very heavy, and I mean that primarily was one of the reasons for the slow adoption of the industry. Because if you read an article, you would see such technical terms that you would feel a little stupid, right? And I would feel stupid, so I would be completely staying away from something that sounds so difficult to begin with. But when NFTs came up in 2020, it was the first time that you could see something creative happening in the industry, something that brought artists and all together. So OneRare actually started as an NFT project. We are big foodies. My husband and I have traveled a lot, and from all the places across the world, food has been our strongest memory. So that was the whole idea, to celebrate food from across the world on the blockchain. That's how we started, and then of course with time it has now changed into the world's first food metaverse.
Sounds actually great, and as you mentioned that the other co-founder is your husband. So, how it actually feels like, because when we see a couple co-founding a company, it's actually amazing, like the bond, the strength, and everything. So, in that case, like how it goes, and also how's the response of your team with this thing?
So I think it's quite interesting when couples pair together. Of course, like any other situation, there are pros and cons. The con, of course, being that the personal space is completely taken over by the company, so you are discussing the company from the moment you wake up till the end. It depends on, like, if one is awake or thinking about it, it's going to be discussed. But of course, the big pro is absolute trust, having the faith in your partner. I also think it's very important for people to pair up only when their skill sets are actually useful to the company or business idea. So Gaurav is actually an engineer, and he handles the complete product and the growth marketing for it, which has been his forte for 10 years. And I come from a design background, and OneRare being an NFT and a metaverse project requires a lot of creative vision. So while we were consultants for the last 10 years, we've been together now for 8 years, but this was the first time that our skills felt suitable to pairing up. So I think that is one key thing that any couple should keep in mind when pairing up, as to what do they bring to the project. If it's not really worthy of their equal time, then it's probably not the best idea.
That's pretty much true, and also I like the whole thought process as well at the same time. So, with that, tell us more about this food metaverse, because this is something I guess new when I was going through this thing. So, I actually read that it's related to gaming as well. You have included food and metaverse at the same time. So, how is it working, and how's the response that you are getting with this world's first food metaverse platform?
So we actually started building OneRare, as I said, like an NFT project, and the core of it was the simple thing of the way we cook in our real life. So let's say you want to make French fries at home, you need potato, cooking oil, and salt, right? If you have these three ingredients, as all of us struggled in the pandemic to make them as well, you can make your French fries. So that's how OneRare started. That you need to collect these ingredient NFTs to make your dish NFT. So you cook up this French fry by collecting these ingredients from our farm. Now the big question came as to why will someone make the French fry, and for that we created an entire gaming layer in our playground where you can run your food truck, you can battle against other players, you can use that as an access to our special events and so on. So that was the concept we started building last year. When we went for our angels and investment round, people got very excited about this idea of food coming into Web3 and started connecting us to chefs and restaurants. So we actually got connected through our investors to a lot of celebrity chefs and restaurants who wanted to know more about NFTs, who were very glad that we were coming in with food into the blockchain industry. And so we started collaborating with these chefs. And as time kind of passed, we realized that these partners need more than just an NFT, right? Because NFT is a buzzword, but these NFTs need utility. A chef issuing an NFT needs to also have maybe, an option to swap this for a real meal if you go to his restaurant, or, people to all the Zomato, and all the Swiggy ordering we do today from ghost kitchens and, all these home delivery only joints. They would have a virtual presence in the metaverse creating their restaurant, so you can come and see what their restaurant vibe is all about while placing your order. So the idea has just grown with each further step as we have spoken to our F&B partners. And at this point of time, OneRare is now a foodverse planet, which basically has different islands. So the first island is the gaming zone, which was the core of how we started. Also good because right now the most engaged user in blockchain is the gamer, because let's say you land into a metaverse, now you've run around and what do you do next, right? So gaming is the kind of activity that engages a person in the metaverse right now. Because we're a food metaverse, I also say this again and again, we're not looking to replace the real life experiences. You have to taste that pizza, you have to go enjoy that food in real life. What we're doing at OneRare is improving the current virtual experience. So let's say this conversation of ours on a 2D media could be happening with our avatars. Let's say in a Starbucks, where Starbucks is also delivering the coffees to our homes for our real life enjoyment. Or somebody spending time in the gaming zone earning a pizza and then going to one of our pizza partners and claiming a real pizza against it. So we're looking to improve the virtual experience of a user, not replace their real experience.
That's actually amazing, and I also love the thought process as well at the same time with that. Also, like as I mentioned in the starting, that there are very less number of women that we can see in metaverse. So in that case, like, what's the reason? Like, are they afraid or they are not getting much opportunities? What's the reason behind it? And like when you were stepping into the metaverse, so obviously you might be shifting your domain from Web 2 to Web 3. So in that case, how was the hesitation thing, and like was it difficult for you to change the domain? Put some light on that.
So I mean, like any other new industry that comes up, let's say the first of the internet companies that came up or the first of social media, everything's new and is a bit unorganized when you begin with. I mean, traditionally, women have a mindset of being in more organized sectors where they're guaranteed, they know the lifestyle, they know the working hours, they know the pay will be constant and stable. And generally you'll see a trend of women being in the sector where they were educated mainstream in. Now with blockchain, there is still not proper degree course that people can do like an MBA and come forward. There's no structured way of coming into the industry. You have to take a risk and sign up with a company that may not last beyond 3 months, may just go bust or something. So I think just the mentality of women in general is to opt for safer professions. That said, I think the number of women since I have come into the industry has been increasing every few months. You see the rise of women in Web3, you see NFT projects around women that are creating these communities. So I think that number is now steadily rising as companies become more organized, and people understand it better. And I think personally for me, it came just from two things. One, of course, having my husband as my co-founder, and knowing that we have stable finances, taking this leap as an entrepreneur. Frankly, that could be Web 2 or Web 3. And the second thing being that I knew and I strongly believe that my expertise as a designer comes into use here. So whatever happens to the project, I will still be working on my forte as a designer. So I think that really helped me. If it was a DeFi project, or if it was a project that was completely left field for my current profession, that would be a little harder for me.
That's actually great to hear that. Also, like when like as you mentioned that you were into designing part, so in that case how your work actually looks like right now, because obviously now you're the co-founder, you are not just designing this stuff but you are also working on some different like sectors as well. So how your like day looks like, how is it?
So definitely, I think as an entrepreneur, and because OneRare is entirely remote, our entire team works remotely. So that's been a big learning for us as well. Frankly, I think we're blessed to work remotely because we're working with top talent that is not restricted by a physical location, right? It gives people a chance to be with their loved ones, live in a city of their choice, and continue to work on projects. I definitely, that's something very interesting, and I've not been asked before, but life has changed a lot because I used to be an independent consultant and run a different kind of operation. And now being a co-founder, you sometimes miss the thing you're really good at because you have to delegate it. But that's the name of the game. If you want to grow, micromanagement is not going to help you. So now my day is a lot more about working with my teams rather than being able to, work on things directly myself. I do try, and I really irritate them by doing that. But yeah, I think now it's a bit more. So I handle the entire content team, I handle the community strategy teams, I handle the entire design and 3D design teams. So it's quite a packed day dealing with all of those. I also believe, this is something that the founder of Lenskart said, that the bigger you get, the more of the HR you become in your own company, because you're just battling fires every day. So I think my role, if I have to say I've changed into something, is from being a designer to be an HR manager now.
I can totally feel that this thing. I can totally feel this, and it actually happens when you are running a company. It's not just the design part or,
Yeah.
or any of your domain. It's all about more like managing the whole stuff and telling people you are doing this right and this wrong. So I
Yeah.
can I
So
can
any
feel
day
that.
you want to really relax, somebody will come up with something like they, and that is another part about, remote working that is, I don't know how many people realize this, but we offer flexible hours, for example. So our earliest morning employee starts at 8 a.m. and the last of our employees end their work by 2 a.m. because they've joined in late. And so the only person who needs to be available for this bit is us as founders. So I think that's another big problem with remote working, that the founder ends up working in everybody's working hours.
Exactly. It's like you are waking up in like early morning and you are going for the sleep like around 2 to 3 a.m. and it's very much hectic at the same time, but it feels good that yeah, it's a really new thing. So with that, what, like, according to you, what's the future of metaverse is going to be? Because right now we can see that more and more people are jumping to metaverse, and obviously, like you came up with such an amazing idea, like combining food, game, and metaverse. It's something really different and amazing. So in that case, how you see metaverse in future? Like, it's been like I guess 2 to 3 years that you stepped into this. It's something new. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I think the metaverse word, of course, it went a little extra viral after the Facebook announcement, right? That's before that, nobody was really talking about the word metaverse in general. And fortunately, we were one of those people who had already planned to be a metaverse before the Facebook announcement came in, which also helped us push ahead. But I think for the next 2 years, the metaverse is basically going to be the formation of all our social media from 2D to 3D. So whether it's our Instagram, whether it's our Facebook, all those experiences that we have right now in terms of 2D content makers will turn into a bit of a 3D content making. So, social media will be more about, live streaming inside the metaverse. There'll be an avatar of your influencer. You can go interact with them. Just the idea of all the videos and things, photos that they post, that's where we see ourselves. It's something kind of like if you look at Facebook and Instagram, 10 years ago when they came in, all our phones sucked. The kind of photos we used to post at that time would be these blurry, pixelated photos. Today, we don't even buy the phone for making a call. We buy the phone based on how good is the camera quality. The reason why people want an Apple is for that better camera, or they're going in for the latest OnePlus. So I think the hardware is going to be catching up in the next few years for the metaverse concept. I have an Oculus right now, and you genuinely can't wear it beyond say 20-25 minutes, right? So if you are creating something immersive that needs to take up all your social media time, an average person on social media is there for about 4 to 5 hours through the day. So if we are looking to bring that world into the metaverse, the hardware will have to become a lot more easy, accessible, cheaper. It will be as light as our sunglasses maybe, or our eyewear, all the AR and VR headsets that we have. So I think that's what is going to be the journey of metaverse. It'll come in very steadily. So let's say, it'll start with brands creating experiences that they are right now. Then there'll be user profiles. You'll be able to create your own avatar based on your real life, start taking part in those experiences. And then as we go along, it'll be the way social media has risen in the last 10 years, where with every passing year, it'll become more of a regular part of our lives. Like, the problem with blockchain projects right now is that we are asked where we build on. Are you building on Polygon or Solana? But nobody's gone and asked me that, did I build my last website on AWS or, directly? So we're discussing too much of the bottom layer, the back technology that we have, rather than focusing on how good the experience needs to be. So I think with the metaverse, in the next few years, all those parts will add up and people will be focused on how good and easy their experience is.
That's actually great to hear that, and it's pretty much true that things are going to change in a very nice manner, and they are going to upgrade ultimately, which we also need. And I guess Oculus is somehow, and I guess that we cannot buy Oculus in India. I guess this is something as well.
No, you can.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. So obviously things are way too much different when it comes to metaverse. Things are way too much like will be upgrading soon in the future as well. So with that thing, like any advice for the people who also want to switch their domain, or especially for the women who wants to just switch their domain and try out this something new, so how they can get started with it?
So I think a lot of companies, of course, are hiring and firing right now. It's that moment in blockchain where there's no calculated growth. I actually think that this is a great time to be in blockchain, because what happens is that when the market goes into bear, the real people are building. So if you have a skill set that goes in any of the areas that blockchain needs, of course, if you're a tech person, you may consider a tech skill upgrade like learning about smart contracts or learning about front end development with regards to blockchain. If you're into HR, that is something that actively blockchain companies are now hiring for the first time. I'm seeing HR managers in every company because they're scaling up that fast. So it's an interesting place. Again, a lot of companies, a lot of profiles actually have the same position available in Web3. So whether you're a PR person, Web3 needs PR. Whether you're a graphic designer or a social media manager, Web3 needs all of those as well. It's just a very small understanding, or kind of, knowing the background of your company. So let's say you join a air purifying company, you will spend 5 minutes understanding the technology, before. So it's pretty much the same thing. It sounds daunting, but I believe there's a lot better content today to understand blockchain as a newbie as well. There are a lot of podcasts, a lot of newsletters that are working on this now. So yeah, I think for women, if they find the company stable, if they think the opportunity is something that would help them enhance their career, I think blockchain is great, because it's not about being from India or being, working with an Indian company. It opens you up to a global market of hiring, and you'll be earning at par with the global salary level. So I think it's a very interesting place to be, provided you do study up about the company and understand where they come from, what their ethos is, talk to the founders, discover more about the company from employees and ex-employees both. And yeah, just study the market conditions about how serious are they about building, because if they're serious, then this is the future, right? It's the metaverse is going to be the next iteration of the internet. So why not? If I told you 20 years ago that you could be a website builder and you could earn so much for it, it's pretty much that moment again.
That's true, and that was really amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was really great having you. We had such an amazing conversation around couples in in a company, having the food and metaverse combined with the gaming. So it was a really amazing conversation with you, and thanks a lot for joining us in the today's podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Chavi.
Thank you so much.